This past weekend was one of the most difficult experiences I've ever had as an elected official or as a Philadelphian. It reminded me of when I was 10 years old in 1968, when the Vietnam War was raging. Nixon and Humphrey were in an election, and George Wallace was running, and my neighborhood was totally in disarray because young men were coming home in flag-draped coffins, and you didn't know what was going to happen. And I when I walked into the airport Saturday, I kind of had that same feeling of not knowing what to expect. There was no template for what was going on. And when I got to the airport on Saturday afternoon, it was just me and the fantastic lawyers standing here. There's actually only two of them. Where are they? Who was standing? Yeah, it was a couple people, and then more and more came. And frankly, I was unsure whether we were going to be successful or not. The Customs and Border Patrol were under orders from the Trump administration not to let anyone in to see the detainees, even myself, and we own the airport. Senator Casey and Congressman Brady were also denied similar requests to at least have a chance to talk to who was being detained. Our ability to communicate with the detainees was just pretty much non-existent. But these lawyers pushed and worked and called, and finally, after several hours, they got what we were all hoping for, was a stay from a federal judge. And they continued to work since then to help the families who were sent back before we were able to help them. Imagine spending 15 hours on a plane after 2 years of being vetted, to be turned around in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, and put back on the same plane to be sent back for 15 more hours to a country whose own government is gassing and bombing their own citizens. To me, it's just an unconscionable, cold and callous attitude about human beings. These lawyers work very hard to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, and they have some updates today for you. So I'm going to turn this microphone over to them shortly. But before I do, I really just want to say thank you. There's been a lot of folks taking credit for what has happened, but it was really these lawyers from Highest, Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and the ACLU of Pennsylvania, and all the other volunteer attorneys and folks who came down, who were not lawyers, who came down to protest and have their voices heard, both Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And it happened around the country in every major airport in America. And I have said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'm sorry you're getting tired of hearing it. If this president were president in the 1840s, 1 million Irish people would have starved to death because they would have been sent back to their country where they were starving. And they came here for a chance to have to save their lives and to have a decent life. And we were told when we came here, my ancestors were told that we should go back where we came from, that because we were Catholic, the Pope was going to ruin the country. We had 2 churches burned down in Philadelphia, St. Michael's and St. Augustine's, by the know-nothings who are seemingly running the country again today. And we have to understand our history in this country. None of us, except for Native Americans, owned this country. All of us were brought here in slavery or because of immigration, because of political conflict or starvation, because of war, and we found refuge here. These folks who were turned away or detained were vetted for 2 years. I mean, severe vetting, as the president likes to say, extreme vetting, vetted for 2 years. And some of them actually helped our military in translating and doing other things to help our military survive and be successful in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places. And this cold and callous nature of this administration's approach to this is just really disappointing as an American. So I don't know who's up next, but I want to turn it over to maybe Helen. You want to